Welcome to Shalom, Ottawa. This is the March show. My name is Benita Simiatiki. We have some interesting topics that are going to be discussed on the show today, and we're going to lead off with something that some people consider somewhat controversial. I have with me Sheldon Friedman, who is the principal of the Ottawa Jewish Community School. And recently the school announced a 5-year plan that will look at tuition hikes in the school. And so we've invited Principal Friedman in to explain the rationale for those increases. And thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
So this is a 5-year, what you call it a financial sustainability plan, I understand.
That's correct.
Can you explain what was the situation before that required the school to take this kind of action?
Well, the school was operating under a deficit from point of view of not having enough money to be sustainable. And one of the things that we did is did a study what other schools were doing, brought in some experts in the area of Jewish education, and you know what they were telling us is that first we should be charging what it really costs to educate a child, and our pricing was way below that, and so we looked at a plan that would get us to a point where we could be charging what it actually cost a child to be educated in a Jewish day school.
Now,
and we came up with a 5-year plan in order to do that.
I know you haven't been at the school for that long. I think you're in your 2nd year now.
That's correct.
Do you know if historically it has always been the case that the tuition was below the actual rate, or is that something that has occurred more recently?
I can't say. I know that the Federation has been very, very generous with the school. And not only was it giving us our normal allocation, which it gives to all educational institutions, but it was helping the school cover some of the deficits as well. And it was time for the school to take on a more active role in that area and move towards a period where the cost of Jewish education would reflect what we were charging for tuition.
Was this something that was a movement that originated within the school body itself, or was this from pressure from the Federation or outside sources to try to become sustainable?
It came to a realization that we should be more independent, and the decision was made to call in these people to give us some advice. We looked at different models in Canada and in the United States, and came up with what we felt was the kind of tuition grid that would answer our needs and not burden the parents of our community too much.
Okay. Were the comparisons made against only Jewish schools or secular private schools as well?
Well, there were some comparisons made as to what the charge was in some of the private schools. As it stands now, the Ottawa Jewish community it's hard to compare it to a private school because the Ottawa Jewish Community School is a community school, and it is not a private school per se, profit-making. It is a school that tries to service the Jewish kids in the Ottawa area, and certainly has the support of the Federation in order to provide that service. But it came to a point where we felt we had to move in an area where we have to start charging a little bit more in order to be more sustainable.
Okay, so let's go get to the nuts and bolts.
Sure.
What is the current tuition?
Well, the current tuition is based on a grid, depending upon the income that the family has, and it starts around 10.5 and it goes to 12.9. So there are different bands, and it's graduated depending upon the income, and it also reflects how many children are attending the school, and there are discounts along the way depending on the number of kids that are attending the school.
Per family?
Yeah.
Okay, so how will that change moving forward?
Well, it's not going to change from point of view of having that kind of affordability model. The model will stay the same. we're looking at gradual increases down the road, although the increase this year has been quite a hike, and it's appreciated on the challenge for Jewish families in order to send their kids to a Jewish day school. But we're foreseeing that down the road it'll be minimal increments reflecting the cost of living.
So when it's called a 5-year plan, is that because by the end of year 5 it will be completely self-supporting?
Yes, because part of the plan is to increase enrollment. And we feel that the school is providing an excellent service, giving the students an excellent education. As a matter of fact, all the board members have been phoning the parents in order to get their response to the new tuition increase. And what they're getting as feedback is that parents are very satisfied with the service that the school is providing, the excellent education that their kids are getting. And we believe that that particular product of an excellent education will attract more kids to our school. And we foresee an increase down the road.
An increase based on the quality of the education?
Absolutely.
But in terms of the tuition increase, is there can you tell me a percentage so people understand how much of an increase they're looking at?
It's very hard to predict a percentage because it's the 5-year plan has a plan of increasing the enrollment as we move along. And we're quite confident that that's going to happen, and we foresee that the increase is going to be around the cost of living, maybe slightly higher than that, but nothing that the parent body has not experienced before. This year is the one that we've really increased it quite a bit, and appreciate the challenge it is for many parents, especially those that have multiple kids at the school. But we foresee a stabilization of that increase in the years ahead.
There would still be discounts for multiple children?
Yes, yes,
and also lower income families?
Yes,
that would still apply?
Yes, we have a program, tuition assistance program, and parents can apply for that assistance, and we do have a fund that would support those families, and that's going to continue. As a matter of fact, we even initiated a new initiative this year where we're giving a $1,000 discount excuse me, for families that have more than one child, for each child over one. Trying to recognize the fact that it is quite a burden for families that have a number of kids attending our school.
Right. So the lower income families will be offered a discount, or they could apply, they could apply for sub. I guess my question is, do you see this as a burden for the middle class parents too, or do you see this as something that they can,
I think
absorb?
It is a burden for middle class families, to be honest. But that is the situation right across North America. It is the middle class families that are struggling with the cost of Jewish education, and you know, communities are trying to address the issues in a variety of ways.
Right.
You know, some cities have gotten donors that have put money aside, in particular for middle class families, in order to help them continue attending Jewish day schools. And it is a struggle, and we hope that we'll have solutions down the road for that.
How do you, in terms of the quality and saying kind of you're getting what you pay for, how do you, what argument do you use to tell parents the benefits that they're receiving at the school?
Well, the benefits is the connection to Jewish life, connection to Israel, and the graduates of our school continue that connection, and they in the future they become the leaders of the Ottawa Jewish community. And if you take a look at some of the leaders in our community today, many of them have come from our school, graduates of our school. And I foresee that's an investment. That's an investment for the community to ensure that there is Jewish leadership in the Ottawa area for years to come.
Do you anticipate that some parents may pull their kids because of the...
I think so.
Yeah.
We're anticipating a bit of a drop in this first year, but going down the road, I think we see an increase as we go ahead. And you know, adjustments will be made. This is our first move into this area, and it certainly is something that we're confident about. But like any other new venture, adjustments will have to be made as we move forward.
Okay. We have to wrap it up now. We're at a time, but thank you very much, Principal Friedman, for coming in. I know it's a difficult subject to paint for everybody, but thanks so much.
Thanks very much.
Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Shalom, Ottawa. My next guest is, her program is kind of related to the holiday that we're celebrating now, Passover, which is all about food. And Karen Faienstein is the coordinator of the Ottawa Kosher Food Bank. And welcome, Karen. And I invited you to explain what the food bank is, because it's something that's so necessary in the community, yet a lot of people really don't aware of all the organization and logistics behind it. How long has the food bank been around?
It was started in 1997, and it was started by the Social Action Committee of a Agudath Israel congregation. Rabbi Fein noticed from working at JFS that there were people that needed food and were going to church basements to get the food. So he felt there was a need, and he got it started.
Okay, excellent. How many families do you serve?
Presently, I think there's about 70 families, about 150 people or so.
Okay, and how do those families get on the list to receive food?
All of our clients are assessed by Jewish Family Services and then referred to us.
Okay, so they're approved by
Yes.
JFS, and then you receive them. You receive
Yes.
their names to be recipients.
Yeah, actually we receive their client numbers.
Oh, their client, right? Because it's anonymous, I guess. You don't know the names of the families.
Over the years, you do get to know them.
Okay. Do some families stay on the list?
Some
for
do,
years?
you know, so especially seniors who are, their situations probably aren't going to change. But many families come on for a while, and then they get work or they finish school, or
Their
and they move on.
circumstances
Their
improve.
circumstances improve.
Great. How often do your clients receive food from the food bank?
Each family receives food once a month. We have 2 distributions a month, and half the families come to one distribution, and the other half come to another.
Okay. And is there what
yes.
location is there that they, you store everything, and where do they go to?
The food bank is inside the building at Agudath Israel Synagogue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it a project specifically of Agudath Israel, or is it community-wide?
Well, We would like to have the whole community, of course, involved, and it serves the whole community. But it is a project of the Social Action Committee of Agudath Israel.
Okay. Where do you get the donated food from?
Well, we get our food in a few different ways. Some of the food is donated by people. They drop it off in the bins, and our bins are located at Loblaws College Square and at every synagogue and also at the JCC. And our bread is donated, all of it, 80 loaves every month from Rito Bakery. And most of our food I buy from a wholesaler. The meat and the special food, like the Passover food, I get from Toronto through Loblaws at a discount price.
Okay, so you probably accept cash donations too,
Yes,
then,
we
to
do.
make those
And
purchases.
yes, we do, and you can phone the Agudath Israel Synagogue at 613-728-3501 to make a donation to the Kosher Food Bank. And it does cost about $5,500 a month to run the food bank.
Over and above the actual food?
No, that's including
That's
the food.
including the food.
Another place we get food is also from the Ottawa Food Bank, I shouldn't forget.
Oh, how does
We're
that work?
Well, we're a member agency, and they don't buy any kosher food, but so instead I have a team that goes with me once a month, and we go through some of their bins, and we take whatever we can find that's kosher.
So if people want to donate food to the food bank, they just have to find one of those drop-off bins
That's right.
that you referred to?
That's right, and it has to have a hechsher on it, and it has to be non-perishable.
Okay. Now let's talk about the volunteers behind the food bank.
Yes, I have a very nice, extensive group of volunteers. The food bank is completely run on volunteers. We do have some office staff, like 0.4 of a person that the food bank pays for to do the accounting, the bookkeeping, the receiving of the donations, the sending out tax receipts. All of the money donations are tax deductible. So there is quite a bit of accounting to be done, but everything else is all volunteers.
How many volunteers have you
my.
got?
I'm not even quite sure, but I would say probably around 20, 25, doing different things, and everything
Yeah.
from packing to picking out food with me to,
And I guess volunteers
emptying
pick
the
up
bins.
the food at the bins?
yes, we have a volunteer who does that.
Do you look for more volunteers?
Yes, I always would, I'm always looking for more
Okay.
volunteers.
And so contacting the synagogue office is the way
Yes,
to...
or myself.
Or
Call
yourself.
me at home, but the synagogue office will give out my phone number.
Right, okay. So with Passover here, what do you do? What does the food bank do at this time of year? Do you do
Well,
a special delivery of
We
kosher
had
for Passover
we
food?
had our distribution on Sunday, where we gave out matzah and matzah meal, and we have cake meal and Passover things like that. And then it's the rabbi sells the food bank for us, so that it's closed for all of Passover.
see.
So we, basically we don't own it during Passover.
Oh,
So I'll
okay.
get it back after.
Okay.
Uh,
If a family would like to apply to be considered as a recipient,
Yes,
how do they go about doing that?
they call Jewish Family Services.
Okay, and they just indicate that this is
Yes,
what they want
and
to
they
do.
will be assessed and brought on.
Okay.
We don't have any waiting list at the moment, anyway, and we try not to.
How long have you personally been involved with the food bank?
Well, I've been chair for since 2005, and I think for about 5 years before that, I was volunteering.
So you have a long history with it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the numbers of families grow that use it?
Yes, the numbers of families have definitely grown, especially since it started. And I think there's a bigger need now, because everybody can see that the price of food is going up for everybody, but especially for kosher food. I mean, which is, the reason why the Ottawa Food Bank, in their big warehouse of food, they don't buy not one single thing that's kosher, because kosher food is the most expensive.
But many regular grocery items.
That's
Are
that's
kosher.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's
like
what you-
if it has a hechsher, like tuna, or the tuna that has the hechsher is, of course, more expensive
Oh.
than the tuna that doesn't, always. So it's a bigger problem for people who want to stay committed.
Right. Okay, Karen, I should correct what I called you, that you are the chair of the Ottawa Kosher Food Bank.
Coordinator.
Either way, you're the head honcho. Okay.
Doesn't matter what you call me.
Okay, thanks so much
Thank
for
you
coming
for
in
having
and
me here.
explaining it, and you do a mitzvah, and I hope that people who are watching will consider
Thank you
donating.
for giving me this opportunity.
You're very welcome. My next guest is off on an adventure soon. She is the chair of the 2013 Adventure Israel trip that is sponsored by the Jewish Federation of Ottawa, and I'd like to welcome Sandra Zagon.
Thank you for having me, Benita.
And you've taken on a big job leading this trip.
Well, it's an adventure. It's an adventure leading the group, and
That's
it will
right.
be an adventure going to Israel to do adventure stuff.
Exactly. So that's my next question. Can you explain what is Adventure Israel and how would it differ from a regular touristy trip?
Well, what attracted me is the adventure word. So we will be doing some hiking in national parks. We will be doing some rappelling, which is attaching with harnesses going down craters. We are going to be doing some biking. We will be doing some swimming. And we will therefore be discovering the country, which many of us have been to before, but in a different way, in a real touch the earth type of way, which is what attracts me. As well, I think we do some ATVing. And also what attracts me is we are going to the south, we're going to the west, we're going to the north, we're going to the east. And we will end up dragon boating on the Sea of Galilee, which is very, very exciting.
It is. Okay. So this is the second year. The inaugural year of Adventure Israel was
Yes.
last year.
Yes.
When is it taking place this year?
This year it's taking place April 29th to May the 11th. And it precedes, if you will, this dragon boat race.
Okay.
So people that are going on the dragon boat adventure, many of them will be joining us to explore the country and basically to prepare for the dragon boating on the Sea of Galilee.
Now, often Federation trips are fundraisers or missions.
No
That's
fundraising.
my
No
question.
fundraising, which is one of the things that attracted me as well, because we give and we raise money for various causes. At other times of the year, this is really just fun and exploring and being active.
And it's showing a different side of Israel.
It's showing a different side, and you are not, the same pressure is not on you. The pressure on you now is simply to have fun and to get to know the country in a different way.
How many participants are you expecting?
We are right now expecting 16, and what is also exciting is I have a sister who lives in Denmark who will be joining me. There are two people, a father and a daughter, who are joining us from Boston. And we just had two people register from Vancouver. So it's an international gathering being hosted by the Jewish Federation of Ottawa,
That's
which is
cool.
also very exciting.
Yeah, that's really cool. How much does it cost?
It's roughly about $3,400 US.
Okay.
And that includes everything. You're staying at very, very nice hotels, 5-star hotels. All of your breakfasts are included, and people should know that an Israeli breakfast will tide you right over to probably dinner. It includes 5 dinners. It includes entry to any of the museums or sites that we will be exploring. It does not include your flight, but it includes pretty well everything else. And the feature as well that attracted me is that there's an add-on if people are interested to go to Petra, Jordan, which I've never been to, which is another reason that, you know, this was the trip for me.
And will that be at the beginning or the
That
end
will
of
be
the
at the
trip?
end. So
Okay.
that will be after the dragon boating.
What are some of the major cities that you'll be hitting?
Well, we're going to start off in Tel Aviv. We're going to be spending some time down towards Eilat, but we won't be exactly in Eilat. We're going to the Ramon crater. We're going then north to Haifa, further north to Akko or Acre, right to the very top to close to the Golan Heights, and then we'll be finishing off at the Sea of Galilee, Lake Kinneret. So really we are touching all the geographic points of the country. As well, we're going to be doing some archaeological digs and exploring some of the artists in Tzfat. So it's a diverse type of approach to Israel.
Will you be getting to Jerusalem?
Definitely, we're
Okay.
going to be spending the Sabbath in Jerusalem, and President Obama is visiting the Israel Museum today. We will be visiting the Israel Museum when we are there, plus going to the markets and going to the Western Wall
The Western
for
Wall, yeah.
the Sabbath.
Okay.
And what is very exciting about this trip is that it's not just open to Jews. So anybody who's not Jewish and wants to explore both the Jewish and the Arab and the Christian elements of what is Israel today, this is another way for them to do that.
Do the participants on Adventure Israel have to do the dragon
No,
boating?
they do not.
Okay.
Everything, in fact, is
Is optional.
facultatif, as we say in French. If you want to do it, you do it. If you want to take a day off and just hang out at a pool, where I'm sure we will, the pools will be lovely, you can do that.
Okay.
If you don't want to do the dragon boat, you don't have to.
Okay. I think that we have to conclude it now, but we're going to put the information up on for the Federation phone number and website on how to get more information.
And the registration is still open.
And it's still
So-
open. We still want you.
Yes, we still want you. You'll
Okay.
have a great time.
Well, I was on it last year, full disclosure. You will have a great time.
Thank you.
Okay, Sandra, thanks so much for being part of the show today.
Thank you
and,
very
I
much.
wish you a wonderful trip.
Thank you.
Okay, so happy Pesach, everybody. This is the end of the March Shalom Ottawa. I hope everybody, depending on when you're watching the show, will have a wonderful Seder or has had a wonderful Seder with your family and friends, and we'll see you in April. This is Benita Simiatiki for Shalom Ottawa.
In Lieder tanzen unter Hoi, Hoi, Hoi. Und wir seien alle Schwester, Hoi, Hoi, alle Schwester, also wir Ruchel, Russen, Esther, Hoi, Hoi, Hoi. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay.